Hello and welcome back to Reality Check. This is our YouTube channel. I hope you have subscribed. If you haven't yet, take a minute, pause, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend who might find it interesting. Speaking of sharing, we are going to be talking about knowing whether your partner is right for you or not. And you've probably heard about red and green flags in relationships. So if that's something that's of interest to you, call all your single friends, because this episode is something you want to watch before you say yes or no to a potential partner. And of course, to have this discussion is none other than Dr. Evas Atwine. Dr. Evas is a mental health expert and advocate. She's also the founder of International Center for Mental Health and Family Care.
I'm a relationship coach.
And a relationship coach, yes. So if there's a man who is pursuing you and you want to know, is he not?
Or a girl.
Or a girl, yes. I guess it's easier to speak about men
I
because
know they are the ones.
and they're the ones who are usually pursuing.
That's true.
Make a date with Dr. Evas. Her practice is in Ntinda, and we'll always put the address in the description box so you know where to find her and her contact as well. So welcome, Evas.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Sure.
I noticed that we're both wearing red, and I've been told red is the color of love.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So I guess we are
Which month is this? October.
Yes.
It's not February.
Yes. No, it's not February. It's not February. So, choosing a partner, it's something that's exciting. It's we have all these feelings and hormones raging. And when people talk about relationships, it's always it lights up a room.
Sure.
And yet we still end up making mistakes and ending up with, the wrong person, quote unquote. Why do you think we struggle in this department?
I think the reason we struggle, first of all, is we're looking for a partner, but we don't look at it as a partnership.
Okay. Please expound.
You see that?
Yes.
So every time we are looking for a partner, we're getting someone to join us, accomplish something. Now, I think about business partners.
Yes.
I think about even jobs, by the way, when we are recruiting people to work with us or for us, there are certain things we are looking at.
Yes.
When we are looking for a business partner, you don't just pick this person and say, I think this person looks like they can work
with me. No.
No. Even if you do that, you're going to check out a few things. Do they understand this? Do they have the same interest? Do they have this? So that's why the concept of partnership is at the core of selecting a life partner.
A life partner.
And we are not talking business partner. That's just one it's a life partner.
Yes.
So I think the biggest problem is that we're looking for a partner, but we are not viewing it as a partnership.
Yes, yes.
Because that means you have to be on the same page. Some of us who have been into business partnerships, you know how important it is for you to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And on the same page, you have the same values. Just imagine, you're in business, you value integrity, you value teamwork, you value excellence,
yes.
You value productivity, and then another person, this is not
care for those things.
So is that a partnership?
No.
Do you know where that partnership will go?
To hell, maybe.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why at the start of every selection of a partner, you have to know that you're coming in and it's a doing thing. It's not a feeling thing.
Yes.
It is a doing. You're going to do things together. So your characters have to really be aligned. So that's the number one
problem.
Yeah.
So, and I think you raise a very important issue about leading with our emotions. That's the thing that excites most people when we are starting out in relationships. How do we then pivot to seeing this as a partnership if somebody has, there's been like a, what do they call it in the romance novels? A whirlwind romance. This person has pursued you, you're maybe playing hard to get, or you like them, you know that they like you too, so you're talking for months, you're in the phase where you're talking, you're getting to know each other. how do you then wear the heart of, okay, if I'm going to choose this person as my lifelong partner, these are the things I need to look out for, or this is what I need to be thinking about. Yeah.
Okay, so I like the fact that you call it
whirlwind romance.
Whirlwind romance.
Yes.
But you see, wind moves.
Yes, it does.
It's not stagnant. It's not stagnant.
Yeah.
And so are feelings.
Correct.
So I always tell people, feelings have no future.
Yeah.
But for us to have the same feeling and make sure that you maintain a level of decent feelings, because feelings are also in two parts. You have positive feelings
and
you have negative feelings. And so love begins from this nice feeling.
Yes.
But you see, the feeling has to have, I always ask people, they say, I loved this person. And I ask them, what did you love about them?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the love should be love for someone who is going to be my partner in doing this institution called marriage. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
Now, when you bring that, so it turns out that most of the time we just love the person. Just reminds me, years back in my practice, I spoke to a lady who came in. She loved the guy. But she was crying. So I got interested. I said, then why are you crying? And she said, I love this guy. Everyone around me hates this guy. I said, why? She told me, she said, he's lousy.
Oh.
I said, he's lousy?
Yeah.
So she described all the things that the guy was doing.
Yeah.
And she hated them. But she loved the guy.
guy.
So I said, so what do you love about this guy?
Yeah.
Do you know what she told me? She said, he's funny. I said,
Okay.
he's funny? He said, he's just a funny person, that he makes me laugh.
Wow.
I said, there's so much comedy in town. You know, that time I think Kampala had started comedy nights.
Yes.
I said, go to comedy night
And laugh.
Yeah.
But
don't marry someone because they are funny and you hate everything they do. You understand? So you have to understand that love has to be, you have to love something about a person and in the context of partnership. And you would want to, because you can't, we say we can't do life alone.
Yeah.
And we get to a point when we need a partner and a partner to build an institution. So every time we get into a partnership, it is to do something.
Correct. Yes.
So it's not just to feel.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So feelings are maintained by logic. You know?
Yes.
I love this person because I'm actually, I value this.
Yeah.
Now I see this person also values and we can work together.
Yeah.
So partnership has to be at the point of values. That's why the Bible says two cannot work together unless they agree. So this partnership of marriage is about agreement. So even when you're not agreeing entirely, you agree to disagree. You see, but you're coming in for this purpose.
Yes. Yes.
Not just to feel.
Yeah.
And anyone who selects a partner based on how they feel, sorry, feelings tomorrow, the wind.
The wind, yes. They'll be shifted by the wind.
They'll be shifted by the wind.
Yeah.
That's why most people keep going here, going there, trying to feel. Because their concept of love is feeling.
Oh, got
You
it.
see? So if we agree on values, then you're going to love someone because they hold a certain value.
Yeah.
They love God,
Yeah.
that's a value.
Yeah.
Their faith is a value.
Yeah.
You know, they are people of integrity. They respect. They do. Why do relationships fail? The same things that fail relationships are the things we need to focus on. Does this person respect? How do they treat people? Do they, are they compassionate?
Yeah.
Are they, people of integrity? Do they work hard?
Yeah.
How do they view work? What is your concept of what is your perspective
Yeah.
to work? How about other things? And so when you get a partner, they are supposed to fit in your world. That's why I tell people, not everyone is supposed to be your partner. You know,
yes.
not everyone is a candidate.
Yeah.
If everyone is a candidate, then you probably have nothing, no
Yeah.
structure
Yeah.
that someone is coming in.
Yeah. So you are attracted to anything or anyone.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because your concept of love is feeling.
So you can feel with anyone.
You can feel with anyone.
Feel with anyone, but you can't be a partner with everyone.
No.
Yeah.
So you can't operate on chemistry. There's a
it.
difference between chemistry and love.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. And I know there's probably some people watching and saying, you people are very old-fashioned. You don't know what you're talking about.
That's right.
But what I hear you saying is that purpose is at the heart of choosing a partner.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, purpose and just knowing what you want in life. What are your values? Who are you as an individual? And how does this person complement or add to who you are and where you are going?
Yes.
Eventually. And you will hear some people say, why they love a person. Oh, this person challenges me to be better.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful value to have, and a good reason to pick a partner. So let's dive into what are the things to look out for, and they've been divided into green and red flags. So the red ones are, this is a no-go area, or maybe proceed with caution. What are those red flags that I guess individuals, I know both men and women, need to be cognizant of as they are selecting a partner or as they are interacting in the dating pool, exploring here, exploring there? What are some of those things that they need to be cognizant of?
So number one is a relationship goal. When so it comes back to what we just talked about.
Yeah.
What are you partnering for?
Got it.
And so in my relationship coaching or in my therapy work, I've noticed that people marry, but they are totally on
Very different pages.
or they are dating and they have different relationship goals. This one is interested in starting a family. The other one is just, they say, just for just. I've met that.
Yeah.
And so, and then they are conflicting. So the starting point is number one red flag is you're not on the same page.
Yeah. Which means recipe for disaster.
It's a recipe for disaster. And remember, feelings just keep flowing, but feelings are not cushioned. You have no purpose. So you're not on the same
page. Yeah.
Number two, the person you're dating is not committed. That's a big red flag.
One. Yeah.
They're not committed to the relationship. So you'll have someone who is just testing life. And some people have, again, the values. I'm going to come to that.
Yeah.
They believe they derive joy in how many people are pursuing them, or how many people they are pursuing successfully. And so they're not committed to that one relationship. Because you see, a marriage partner is supposed to be what?
Yes.
But this person is still checking here, checking there, checking
Yeah.
there. And when you say, oh, they go like, oh, okay, I'm back.
Or even get angry and upset.
And they get upset and they think you're controlling.
Yes.
Right?
Interesting, yeah.
So their lack of commitment shows in accusing you for being very controlling.
And that should tell you something.
That should tell you something.
Yeah.
That should tell you something. The other red flag is relationship history.
Yeah.
Relationship history. Very interesting. In my work practice, I met people who are dating someone, they are about to get married. They have no idea about the relationship history of this person. And these are areas that people don't talk about. But they have an indication they have implications on your own relationship.
Yep.
Okay, so relationship history, to be specific, is someone has been, their relationship history, they are in a relationship, they break up 2 months, they break up 5 months, they break up 1 year, they break up 2 years.
Whoa.
And then you come in and you say, oh, all those people were wrong. I'm the right person.
Are you now?
You understand?
Wow.
Relationship history should tell you something.
Yeah.
Because it helps you to identify that someone possibly has poor commitment issues, rather commitment challenges, but number 2, that they are not emotionally stable.
Yes.
Right? So their level of dedication to a relationship is not good. And so you need to check why. Why did that relationship fail?
Yeah.
And whenever I'm checking, you find that someone is saying, oh, they said, they said this person was bad for them, that kind of thing. Then related to that is when the partner, this is a big red flag, when your partner blames other people for their past relationship failures.
And that's typical.
That's very typical.
Very, very typical. It's easier to blame the other person and make yourself look good or like the victim.
Yes.
And that's why the relationship ended and you didn't have a part in it.
No. So they've dated like 6 people and all those 6 people were the wrong ones. You have to know that you're the next victim, most likely.
Yeah.
So it is okay, it's understandable that relationships don't work, but from every failed relationship, we learn a lesson.
Yes.
And a lesson should be positive. So if the person you're dealing with didn't learn any lesson, anything to improve them, anything he owns up to, that's a horrible red flag.
Yeah. A very big red flag.
That's a very, very big red flag.
Yeah.
Of course, the other one is unfaithfulness.
So if someone has a history of unfaithfulness?
Yes, but even in your relationship.
Yes.
You're dating and they're unfaithful. Again, this speaks to their commitment abilities.
Yeah.
Because that means they are everywhere, they are not so sure. So if someone cheats when they are dating you, they have other people, then most likely this is going to happen. And I'll tell you that relational science tells us that anything, any negative you see while dating, give it a factor of 10.
Wow.
And you'll know how it will most likely look like when you're married.
When you're married.
Now,
it
multiplies by 10. And so it's very important to see this and not to downplay them. We get dismissive because we are in love or we are stuck. So we say, I can't get out because now, and then you're seeing all these red flags. Then you continue unresolved. You don't resolve them and you continue hoping that you'll help them to overcome
them. Yeah.
But remember, these are likely to multiply by a factor of 10.
That's huge. So
we have to be very careful. The last one I would probably talk about for now is violence.
That's a big one. And usually there are indicators in the dating period.
They're indicators. They're indicators. And violence doesn't just have to be physical. It can be emotional. Silent treatment, name calling, all that manipulation, and they make you feel bad. So there are so many people who are in really, really bad relationships before marriage, but they are stuck. And they're saying, oh, I cannot. Now my encouragement, of course, is to resolve this, but violence is a big indicator. Someone who beats you when you're dating,
be sure they will beat you when you're married.
They'll kill you.
Or kill you.
Because violence is terrible. So someone who has the audacity to beat you, abuse you, walk out on you, and there are so many cases. I met so many. They do all manner of things. What do you call it in your language? Ghosting.
Ghosting, yes.
So they ghost you. They ghost you, and the day they unghost you, is that right English? Then you go back.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, they've changed. Maybe
Oh, they've
it was a
changed.
rough
Oh, now they are
patch.
nice. It was a rough patch. But you see, that because you see, this marketing stage called dating, that's the time we all pull out the best of us, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be faking it. It comes natural because there's that desire to impress, to be nice to a person. It comes natural.
Yeah.
But if this huge negative can filter through and manifest in the form of fighting and beating and cheating and all that, then you don't want to be dismissive of that. Please pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Most likely this will increase by a factor of 10.
Remember that. A factor of 10.
A factor of 10.
Yes.
So the issue is, if what this person is manifesting multiplies by 10, will I be able to accommodate it when we get married? Remember, after marketing is management stage. When we live together from Monday through Sunday, you're no longer hanging out at Cafe Javas or River. No, this time you're together Monday through Sunday. And you're going to have more issues to deal with. More issues to deal with. So if they are manifesting disrespect, gross disrespect, abuse, poor communication, lack of commitment, they think you're controlling them. So what happens when you finally get married and you have now children, you have so many things, you have to decide, you have to make very serious family decisions. What will happen? So those are the relationships later on in marriage. We are having people totally absent. Anytime you have they don't have good conflict management skills. The only way they manage conflict is through fighting and physical abuse or emotional abuse. And this could be girl, boy, you know, it doesn't matter, man, woman, doesn't matter. So we need to pay attention to some of these things. Don't get dismissive. And my message is, don't assume by you being in their lives, you're going to solve them.
Or help them change.
Or help them change.
Yes.
No.
And I think that's a weakness that a lot of women suffer. When we find these individuals with their flaws and we see the red flags, we say, you know, he'll change. You know, he's going to be a better person. He's working through his issues. And I know that there's a place for working through our issues.
There is. And to be honest with you, it shouldn't also sound that people don't change.
Yeah.
But number one is, are you ready to help them? To support them,
and be
to
patient
change.
With them through
so that's the whole
change.
point. If this increased by a factor of 10 or maybe less, are you ready to support them? Because we don't know people with a view to running away. But the issue is, can I manage this, or is this for someone else? Remember, not everyone is supposed to marry you or you're supposed to marry them.
That is true.
Probably they are meant for someone else who has the grace to support them, go through that. Right? So if you see something you really hate, ask yourself, do I have the grace to support this person to go through? They can change, but most likely they will get worse, because when we get into the management stage, we tend to take each other for granted. We feel there's so much need
to impress.
To impress, because you're no longer trying to win. Now you're living. And so when we plunge into that management stage, are you ready for that? Or are you going to say, I can't take this?
So you need to count the cost.
You need to count the cost. Are you ready? Do you have the resources?
Yes.
Mental, emotional resources? Are you ready to be patient? Are you ready to take that? Are you ready to teach this person, to help them? To help them. Not change them, but influence and help them to be better.
And I think that even as you count the cost, I think it's usually helpful that you count the cost when there's been an expression or a desire to change on the other person's
That's right.
Because if you're just wishfully hoping that they change and you say, no, I have the grace, I can handle, when the other person has not shown a desire to change, I think is really building castles in the air and hoping that you are on the same page, the page you are referring to.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it. It just reminds me of two more red flags. Number one, we all have flaws.
Yes.
But when you really see someone is stuck in their world and they are not willing, they don't acknowledge that it's a weakness, and they are ready to work on that.
Yes.
That is a big red flag. Secondly, the one you reminded me of is when you marry someone who is not comfortable with you. You're dating someone, they are so uncomfortable with you.
Yeah.
Every time they are giving you negative, you call it negative vibe, maybe that's what it is. So they just show you that they are uncomfortable with you.
Yeah.
Why don't you change this? Why don't you do it? Why don't you? Yes, we all have things that we need to work on, but you really realize someone is so uncomfortable
yes.
with you. They are not, and they are not ready. Now, they can be uncomfortable with your negatives, but some of them are actually uncomfortable with your good side, with your strength.
Yes.
That means they're not confident enough. Yes, there are people who have a very low self-esteem.
Yeah. Oh, and that's bound to be a problem. Yes. Let's talk a bit about some green flags. Is it possible that we spend so much time on the red flags that maybe we don't realize that someone is actually good for us? How do we know that someone is good for us? What are some of those green flags to look out for?
So it's like
we're flipping it. Yes.
So one of them is that they are really comfortable with you.
Okay.
I'll start with that.
Yeah.
They are really comfortable with you, and to say they are comfortable with you doesn't mean that you're perfect.
Yeah.
But they've accepted you.
Yeah.
They have accepted you,
yeah.
and and of course this acceptance manifests in grace. Even when they are giving you feedback on the areas for improvement, you really see they are gracious. They love you. They love you irrespective.
Yeah.
You know, they value your positive side, but they also know that there is room for improvement. They are not really putting you on pressure. They are not talking about what we call it. This I can't take this
anymore.
I can't take this.
Yes. There's a desire to grow with you.
There's a desire to grow.
Yeah.
They understand that every person has a place of self-improvement.
Yeah.
You know, so they have this desire for you to grow, and they cheer you on.
Yeah.
Now that's a very, and by the way, that's key.
Yeah.
Just imagine you're with someone, and you know they are not comfortable with you, and you want to get married to them.
Get married. And yet marriage really is about exposing yourself. You know, you're going to be laid bare before this person. They're going to know you in and out, your flaws, your weaknesses, the good parts, the bad parts, everything. It's really about being naked before your partner. So if they're not comfortable with you, how are you going to achieve that?
That's tough.
Yeah.
Related to that, another beautiful green flag is that they are interested in your growth. They are your leader, should I say, cheerleader, but they cheer you on. They cheer you on. I've benefited in that area where your partner really wants you to go
better.
Just get there, and they will say you can achieve that.
Yeah.
You can achieve that. You can achieve. That's a very, very important green flag. Very, very important.
Yeah.
And then of course what we talked about earlier, you're on the same page.
Yes.
In terms of relationship goal. You know, don't be with someone who is telling you they are still thinking about it.
Really?
Do you understand?
Yes.
Let me tell you, so many young people or intending couples are in so much stress. Very stressful relationship because someone is just dangling this. Let me see. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still working through some things. I'm still... And then you're there.
Yeah.
And then you're turned into a beggar. So when someone is considerate of how you feel, they are empathetic.
Yeah.
They know that the moment they introduce this idea, there is a way you feel. You have hopes.
Yeah.
You have plans.
Yeah.
You have, you know, so that is very, very important. And so we need to keep just keep your eyes not just on red flags, but on these
On the green
on
ones
the
as
green
well.
ones.
Yes.
On the green ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are patient.
Yeah.
They realize that, and they are also interested in you and your thoughts, because I'm talking about patience and empathy generally.
Yeah.
So if you get this person, they are not running you on their agenda, but they are also interested in your agenda. I'll give an example. I remember a young, they are now married, young couple, but when they were still dating, this guy was patient. I remember he was talking about how the girl still wants to pursue a master's degree. He had gotten into business, and he was saying, when you finish, come, we work together. But then he was also mindful of this guy. He said, well, she wants to pursue a career in engineering, and for me, I cut my career short and went into business, and I really want to pursue this. But I'm considerate that if she wants to work first, let her pursue her master. But another person would go like, why are you this?
Yes.
So everything is about them. They are the standard.
Yeah.
They are your career goals. They are your everything. So you have to be very careful. Now, when you see that, that's a good person, because they are not looking at this partnership purely from the standpoint of their themselves and their interests, but also you.
Yes.
So
they're considerate.
they are considerate.
Yeah.
And of course, so many other things, what we have talked about, they resolve conflict.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Because in marriage, conflict is inevitable.
Yes.
And how they resolve that conflict.
Yes.
And you will see it even in the dating period.
Yes.
Either someone is quiet, they will, go do silent treatment.
Silent treatment.
Or they'll ghost you.
Yeah.
Or they'll not want to resolve the issue.
Yeah.
Because they'd rather not talk about it.
Or they'll blame you.
Or blame you,
Yeah.
yes. Or blame you. That's and so you need to look out for some of these things in the beginning. But if somebody is willing to resolve conflict, that's a good woman, that's a good man.
Yes, and they take responsibility for their mistakes.
Yes.
That's a good a good man.
Yeah.
That's a good woman.
That's a good woman. Yes.
And they don't take to manipulation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because ghosting,
All
silent treatment, all of that is manipulation.
Correct.
Let me just keep quiet, you beg me, then I come back strong.
Oh, wow. So Dr. Evas, there might be someone who is watching and they are feeling like they chose wrong. Maybe they are going through a rough patch in their marriage, or maybe the red flags that they ignored have multiplied by a factor
of 10.
Yeah. What would you say to this person? Is it still possible to work through?
Absolutely. So relationships are a journey.
Yeah.
Relationships are a management platform. Relationships are improved as long as you have the skill. So what is it? Sometimes relationships fail because we don't take time to understand ourselves. Right? So that person watching, and most of the time they are looking at the mistakes or the areas or the red flags in the another person. But how about you? Yes. Because for a relationship to be successful, it doesn't necessarily mean that person has to change. Sometimes you have to change.
Yes.
Right?
That's tough.
Change your attitude. Change, because we all get into this partnership to improve one another.
Correct.
Right? So most of the time, their strengths are your weaknesses. Your strengths are their weaknesses. So how do you move together? And so this relationship is a lifelong process of improvement. And so the number one thing that person should know that is that the relationship can get better, but they need to change the way they manage it. So what does that mean? They need to understand themselves. They need to understand their partner.
Yes, yes.
Where is this coming from? Most of the time we approach it with judgment rather than grace.
Yeah, or curiosity.
And empathy. Yeah, and curiosity. Because empathy manifests in curiosity. What's happening? Why is this person behaving the way they behave? And so when you come and say, how? That should never be the question. How can an old man do this?
Yeah.
How can an old woman? How?
Yeah.
So that question actually does not help. What helps is, why is this person behaving the way they behave? Right?
Yeah.
So now you are interested in the source of the behavior and how.
Yeah.
That will inform how you respond
and manage, yes,
and support them.
Yeah.
Now, for instance, some people have suffered childhood trauma.
Yes.
They are angry,
Yep.
they have anger issues. But now when you come in, you accuse them of anger issues, but you don't know where this is coming from. And so this person has been angry until they married you. And they when you were dating, they were a little happy.
They manifested some happiness.
But it's not deep.
Yeah.
They have really deep unresolved issues, which they need to deal with. Now you come in and you accuse them, you judge them. So they look at you, now you become another stress trigger for them. So they are more angry. But probably this person has lacked love,
growing up,
kindness. They've never had anyone they believe listens to them or values them. Now you don't want to add to the list of people that have tormented them.
Because you're just pushing them further over
You're pushing them further, and you're asking them, what's wrong with you?
Ouch.
You may say it,
yes,
or you may act it.
Yeah.
And so it's very important you understand the source of their behavior. What is that? And so at that point, then you see how to support them. Prayer, kindness, your kind response, but also I encourage as a therapist, please reach out for professional help.
Yeah.
Seek professional help, and I'm emphasizing professional help.
Not just anyone.
Not just any. Sometimes we get confused by different voices. Rather than a professional voice that does very good psychoanalysis, understands where your partner might be coming from. Because people who have been to my office, for instance, they know that the first 2 minutes of our conversation, I'm trying to find out, tell me about your family. How did you grow up? How do you have parents? Were they together? All that. And then I ask about their partner. Tell me about your partner. How did they grow up? How did you meet? How did you, so all that history is very important. And this is not history just for a therapist, but also for you. Yes. Discover your partner. So let them seek professional help. That's why we are trained to support you. And if you're still choosing, we support you. If you are already there, the solution is not to quit.
No, not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. There may be points where you quit, unfortunately, but the solution is not to quit. I'm very sure if we pursued this line of seeking help, and the right kind of help, then we are able to save our relationships. Because these relationships are very important, despite our weaknesses.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Evas. So to anyone out there who needs help, please do reach out for professional help. And I hope that you now know, what are red flags, what are green flags. I also noticed, even as we were talking about green flags, that there are, individuals who are being pursued or who are being courted, and the people who are courting or pursuing tick all these green flags, or at least most of them. But maybe he's not my type. We base our selection on things that are fickle. Like, he's not my type. He doesn't have that vibe, And yet when you are getting into marriage is not, you don't survive on vibe. You don't survive on a type. What happens is, are you aligned, and are you on the same page? Are the values the same? And those are the things that will sustain your marriage.
Your marriage. But also, Rachel, I don't know whether this takes us back, but let me mention this. That it's also important to have someone that gives you a good feeling.
That's true.
Yeah. Yes. So the message here is, don't just focus on feeling.
On the feelings, yes.
But a good feeling. Now, there's nothing wrong with marrying a beautiful wife, a beautiful girl. And I've heard people say, don't not just beauty. Beauty is deceptive. The Bible talks about it.
Yeah.
The beauty is deceptive. And it's telling you, just look below the beauty.
Yeah.
Just go below that
Yeah,
layer.
yeah.
Now, that's very important.
Yeah.
However, what's wrong with marrying a person who has
who
both?
makes you feel good.
Who makes you feel
Yes,
good.
yes.
It's very important,
Yeah.
but just make sure your relationship is not hinged on
Feelings.
only.
Yes.
Very, very important.
Very important.
Very and the feeling also could be pain.
You mentioned something along those lines. Can you quickly, in like 3 seconds, talk about
3 seconds, I'm going to talk about trauma bonding.
Yeah.
Some people connect for marriage because of pain. So, and you know what we have in our subconscious mind connects with that. I always tell people, be careful what you have stored up here, because you're going to see it in real life, right? It's the same thing when women are pregnant. You see so many pregnant women. When you're not, you don't. When you buy a particular car, you're going to see that car
on the road. Time, yes.
This car type has been on the road for a long time, but you didn't pay attention. Yeah. It's the same thing with trauma bonding. When we have traumatic experiences which are not resolved and you haven't cleansed your subconscious mind, they are still there. When you're looking for a partner, you can also, there's a possibility, you can connect with people who have that same pain. And then I hear people say, yeah, we share that pain. We bond because we have the same pain, same background. We don't call it pain because sometimes you don't even know that. We have the same background. We've all been mistreated by stepmoms. And so we understand. Now, that is called trauma bonding. And it's not healthy. Because that means, and I've seen couples suffer. Yeah. Because you and they say, please fight for me, fight, let's fight this, let's prove to the world. That is trauma bonding.
Trauma speaking.
It's trauma speaking. Yeah. So don't select a partner because you have same pains. Resolve the pains and connect with a healthy person. And if you connect with someone who has the same challenge or same experience, adversity, or childhood, please make sure that you're coming in as a healed person, you know, as a healed person, don't a wounded healer. So you healed your wounds, and now you're coming in. You help the person to heal, but don't connect with pain. That is called trauma bonding.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And it's also a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Dr. Evas. This was wonderful. I hope you know on what end of the spectrum you lie, whether you're looking out for red flags or green flags. Those are just some of the few that you need to look out for as you choose a partner. It's very, very important. We cannot stress this enough, because this is the person you're going to be with for the rest of your life. They're going to impact your life significantly. So it's important that you choose right. To the person who is already in a marriage and maybe you feel like you chose wrong, there's hope and there's help. You know, so just reach out and get that help that you need. Thank you so much for joining us again. Let us know what you think in the comment section. What is the process going like for you if you're in the process of choosing a partner? What are your struggle areas? Let us know in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Join us another time for another episode on Reality Check.